Hi, today I'm going to show you a quick little project you can do at home with kids or at some kind of venue where you don't want to make a big mess, you don't have a lot of time. It's making a felted coaster inside a plastic bag. First, I'm going to make a little bit of pre-felt. You can do the whole thing at once, but if you're going to a venue, it might be nice to have something ready to use. So this is, usually I would use white. I don't have a lot of white wool right now, so I'm just using something random. So I'm just going to make 2 layers of Who Cares pre-felt. This is not going to be very large. If you were going to a venue, you'd probably want to make a whole bunch of pre-felt, and then you cut it up into the size pieces you need, either right in advance or when you get to the venue. Alright, I'm going to do another layer, another row. Try to make sure it's kind of even-ish, but it doesn't matter because you're going to cut it anyway. And just do, that'll be plenty big, bigger than big enough. And you can also do larger pieces the same way with a larger bag. This is just going to be in kind of a sandwich bag size bag, or maybe slightly larger than a sandwich bag. Maybe I might use a quart size bag, depends on what I've got. So just the second layer. Like I say, this isn't a real picky kind of thing. This is just, I'm just giving you the general idea, so if it looks messy, it probably is. Do your 2 layers. 2 layers should be enough. You're going to be adding a 3rd layer and another layer of design later, or your people who are doing this are going to be adding that bit. I'll be adding it today, obviously. Alright, see if I have any blank spots or spots that look really bad. And at this point, I would spray it with soapy water, which I didn't bring. So I've got the soapy water now. I'm just going to spray this a little, not too much. If my sprayer works. Ooh, that's not the right kind of spray. Let's see if I can make it more spray-y. There we go, that's a little better. Not the optimal sprayer, but it works. You use what you got kind of gal. Okay. And this is, again, it's a coaster. It's not real picky. If it's a little not great looking. It's on a piece of plastic, and I'm going to put another piece of plastic over it. And just roll it a bit. And this is pre-felt, so you don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to roll it probably about 100 times or so. Roll it in different directions. Make sure that it's all stuck, nicely stuck together, but not too well stuck together. You want little bits and pieces sticking out of it, so that the new wool will mesh with it well. I think I'm going to call it ready. That was really quick, actually. And now I'm going to let it go ahead and dry out so it's not so fragile. Okay, this is dry. I'm back. Here's what I've decided to do is cut a piece of kind of bubble wrap stuff. This is not a very good piece. That industrial size bubble wrap is always good. That fits inside the bag. A little smaller than the bag, just a wee bit. And I'm going to use that to build my coaster. So first I'm going to cut a piece of this not very great pre-felt, about the same size as that, cut out the best part of it, and that will be the base of the coaster. Actually, it's going to be the interior of the coaster, because with this piece of plastic here, we'll be able to build actually on both sides of this pre-felt. I think. Never done that before. Anyway, so cut it just, should be a teensy bit smaller than that plastic piece. There we go. So that's our middle. So I'm going to start by just doing something kind of random on one side here. I've got some locks. I'm going to put, remember you're building from the outside in, and you can't really see what's on the outside. But I'm just going to kind of untwist these a little bit and toss them on there. I call this confetti. This is my wool confetti. Just to give it a little interesting look down there. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but we shall find out when we find out at the end. All right. You can use yarn. You can take bits of yarn and untwirl them. Just to take some 2-ply and pull it apart into 1-ply and use that for some confetti. It's just fun stuff. Okay, so I'm just putting that on. Then I'm going to put on some, ooh, what would look nice on that? Maybe some of this blue. I think this is goat fiber, so it's kind of long-haired. And I haven't been using it for felting really because it's too long-haired for my taste. 2 little bits come out. Anyway, I'm going to put basically a layer of that over this whole side. A loose, probably not very great layer, but a layer nevertheless. All right, which direction I'm going to go? Ooh. Maybe that's why I wasn't using it. It doesn't want to come apart. Here we go. All right, so we're going to do that like scales, slightly over each other. Another one. We'll do that all the way across. That'll be the 3rd layer, and I know it looks really thin and sketchy, but once it felts together, it won't be so thin at all. This will shrink as it felts, and the bag I'm using is, I think, actually a quart-size bag, so a little bigger than a sandwich bag because I wanted to be sure the end product would be large enough to be an actual coaster and not just a blob of felt. And you can make this a different shape. If you wanted to make it a circle, I would actually advise going ahead and making it this shape and cutting it a little later. Okay, I'm calling that done. I'm going to put this right on top of that. To do. Now, you can do something completely different on this side. This red, ooh, I don't know, I'm just using really random random wool. But I'm going to kind of do this from the corner. Sunbursty kind of, sort of idea. So I've got red and I've got orange, and I'm not real concerned about how it's all going to look. You could put little flowers on here, or you could make it look like a landscape. You could do just anything you wanted to do at this point. But this is really another full layer, which is not necessary. You could, with this layer, you could actually just do designs. You don't have to do a whole another full layer. But I'm committed to this now, so here we go. Mixed up with a little oranginess. And this is just really basic, simple, basic felting that anybody can do. And I'm just doing this to kind of show you something that can be done easily, like as an intro for if you have people who want to know how it works, but they don't want to watch for long, or you don't have a good space to do it in, you don't want to make a big mess, or you don't have a lot of time, or whatever. Just put a few little twirly bits on there. Twirly bits. Just for entertainment. And one more somewhere in the middle between those two, sort of. And that's all you've got to do, layer-wise. That's plenty of layers. This one's probably going to be hideous, but hey. It's just a demo, right? Hey, I'll be using this baby for years. Ooh, I made pot holders for my kitchen. I have to tell you, they work so much better than the ones I was buying in the store. Okay, so layers. Now, before you wet it down, we're going to wet it down, you want to get it into this bag. This is the hard part. I believe this will be the hardest part. But I think having this piece of plastic on the bottom will help us quite a bit to get it into there. And if I were a smart person, I would have used a little bit larger bag, or cut this a little bit smaller. But sometimes I don't think that hard. But I think we'll be able to get it in there. What do you think? Okay, get it in there. This is why it helps if you don't have a design that you care too much about, because if you mess it up, it's no big deal. I did cut that a little large. I should have cut that a little smaller. But hey, I think it'll work. So there, it's in the bag. And I'm not worried about these corners. I don't care if it's square or not, but if you are, you can stick your hand in there and worry them a little bit, make them more squarish. I'll probably end up cutting off the corners when I'm done anyway, because that's how I do things. Okay, then we take our trusty spray bottle and we just open it up and spray in there. Not too hard. Try and open it up as much as you can. Spray inside. I don't know if you can see that. Spray inside. Spray inside. And that pushed this down, but that's okay. So I could put it back up. All right, I'm going to squish it around a little bit. I did put plastic under here just in case. We'll squish it around just a little bit. Try to get things sort of sticking together. I don't think I have enough liquid in there. So, see if I can get some down into there. You can always do it by squishing from one end to the other. I'm going to go ahead and try to get the air out mostly and seal this baby so that things can't get too much of it anywhere. I do have a little towel here. It's probably a smarter thing to put underneath it than the plastic, just for that little bit that's going to come out. All right, so I'm spreading this liquid around inside here, gently, just pushing on it. Rolling my hand. And I like these pool noodles. This is cut in half pool noodle. They just work so well. So I'm going to start at this end where I know it's wetter and push towards that end a little bit. Try to get everything a little bit together there. I'm seeing kind of dryness down there, so I have to try to squish some. Ooh, I think I did it. Squish some water down that direction. Might be good to use industrial strength bags so you can't pop out with them. I didn't, but I could have. All right, oh, we can see what the other side looks like. Well, sort of. It's got that plastic between. And if you use good bubble wrap, that nice blue bubble wrap on the bottom side, then you get a little bit more felting going on. But once you get it together a little bit, you can really, and you can do this anyway, you can really just do it with your hands. Rub around in circles. Use your fingernails. And it doesn't, you don't get junk everywhere. It's just simple. Again, I'm not going to make you watch me do this, because this is what I'm doing. I'm going to do this, and as it gets together more, you can do it a little harder. I'm going to do this a little more, do it different directions, all 4 directions, top, bottom, all 8 directions. Flip it upside down and do it that way until it really is together and felty. And that'll take a while, not a real long time, because this is not a real big thick piece. But again, I probably do it, oh, I don't know, 30 or 40 times each direction. Just to get it together. And once you get it to the point where you think, gosh, something must be happening in there, you can pull it apart and take a look at it. You can pull it a little bit out if you want to. Yeah, no need. And just see, is it sticking, is everything sticking together? Is it, yeah, it looks like it's starting to stick together. So now you just need to get it to shrink down. And that's felt. Before you take it out of the bag, you want to be sure everything's really stuck together well. And you can feel it shrinking up. And actually, even through the bag, you can feel the feel of what it feels like. And I'm just going to do this a little longer because it feels pretty good right now. But I'm going to do it a little longer because I want it to feel really good. Ooh, my bag opened. All right. But this is the part they do when they go home. You don't have to do this while you're there learning. It's a piece of lightweight felt. But I want to shrink that baby down, so I'm going to squish it. I'm going to take it to the sink and put it in hot water and really shrink it down. And I'm going to go do that now. So here we have it. I took it over to the sink in my bathroom, the little sink, ran some water. First it was cold, so I rinsed it a little bit with cold, and then as it got hot, I got the whole thing nice and hot, put a little vinegar in there and squished it around and squeezed it to kind of get the acid of the soap out of it. And then turned off the water and I rolled it up like that, squished it, folded around, this kind of a thing. And then I threw it down about probably 30 or 40 times. Normally I would do more, but for such a little thing, I just did it 30 or 40 times. And it came out looking more or less like this. You can pull the edges a little bit and reshape it as needed. I'm not too concerned about these kind of edges. You may be. Good luck. Then you can dry it in the dryer. You can, there's the other side, or you can just sit it out on a shelf to dry for a day or two in the sun, or if your heater's on, that'll dry it out. And just then you've got it. It's ready to use with your drinks. And you can see that it actually shrunk quite a bit. That's probably almost half from the size it started out. So expect that. That's what's going to happen. It'll shrink at least a third, maybe halfway down. But here it is, all ready to use. Actually, this one has dried overnight because I kept flubbing my bit here. So here you go. Enjoy.